What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackbine coming to you live from the 412. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, find all of my work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. A big 24 hours for the city of Pittsburgh and the black and gold as TJ Watt is all over the headlines for the wrong reasons. We sit here today and there's plenty of speculation on both sides of the ball. Is TJ Watt just a fan of photography of himself and thought, great picture? If not, is TJ Watt in the middle of a contract situation that is probably not going well, and he's watching guys like Myles Garrett get paid $40 million, and he's not happy about how he has not made $40 million. And at the same time, well, TJ Watt maybe is upset at the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback situation. We're diving into everything surrounding the controversy, I guess. I'm not going to call it drama yet with TJ Watt, what it means, where it really comes from, if there's any legitimacy to it, and where it can lead at this point in the offseason. And if it's a sign to the Pittsburgh Steelers to say, all right, we have hit a point where this is impacting more than just us looking like fools to the rest of the NFL. And maybe, just maybe, TJ Watt is the reason that the Pittsburgh Steelers finally closed the door on a situation that has dragged out for over a month now in a situation that did not need to drag out for any time period whatsoever. We will start with TJ Watt, who I'm pulling up the picture now. For those of you who have not seen it, TJ Watt went on to Instagram yesterday, shared just a picture of himself, and everybody immediately started thinking, what does this mean? And is this the end of TJ Watt and the Pittsburgh Steelers? There were no words, but the peace sign became a symbol of sayonara for the Pittsburgh Steelers and their star edge rusher. Let's talk about it. Is there any legitimacy to it? What are the reports surrounding it? And what do I think when it comes to TJ Watt getting paid eventually by the Pittsburgh Steelers? And if this is even close to the end of the line between him and the black and gold. We'll start with Mark Kaboly, who got everybody fired up this morning, because as that news dropped, I think we all looked at it and immediately said, there's a 50-50 chance that TJ Watt is just posting a cool picture of himself, which, you know, the peace sign out there. I would post that picture. I think a lot of us would post that picture, not think anything of it. We, to a degree, ignored it and said, we will move on with our nights. We'll have dinner. We'll watch the Pat McAfee event, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I think anybody there had a great time. So I'm glad that you did. And I'm glad Tone Diggs and other Pittsburgh natives got some booms out there as they arrived on stage. But anyways, we carried on. Nobody put more than just a couple of minutes of thought into the situation. And we went to bed, we woke up the next morning, and all of a sudden Mark Kaboly is tweeting that maybe we should put some stock into the situation. He said, quote, on Twitter, after talking to people, I'd keep an eye on this TJ Watt contract situation moving forward a little more closely. It doesn't appear that his IG picture below that he posted yesterday was by chance. I'd imagine an extension is still going to eventually get done, but the price tag just might be a tad bit higher than some anticipated. I think that is well-deserved by TJ. And to be honest, a situation that I expected to happen. I had looked at it and said, TJ Watt is either going to go for $35, $36 million a year, and the Steelers are going to somehow fleece this guy into a pretty reliable, decent contract, team-friendly for the situation that they're in, and walk away with the best edge rusher in football getting paid less than best edge rusher in football money. Okay. Or TJ Watt was going to walk in there and say, Myles Garrett's getting paid 40. Micah Parsons is going to get paid more than 40. And I'm going to get paid $36 million by the Pittsburgh Steelers. That doesn't make much sense. How is that my fault that you guys waited this long to pay me? How is it my fault that these guys are making bonkers money and the market is what it is? If I was a tier 2 edge rusher, we don't have to have this conversation, but I'm the best edge rusher in the NFL. I think that was a possibility, especially after last time negotiations went on so long that TJ eventually had to walk himself into Art Rooney's office, slam the door open and go, Art, we're here. We're playing football. Shake his hand and leave. Sign the contract himself pretty much. After that one, you're thinking he's got to be looking for a decent contract, one that probably fits right in the middle of Max Crosby and Myles Garrett, but most likely leans more towards Myles than it does Max. And maybe this is the beginning of that price tag getting a little bit too high. Now, I don't think this is premature. I don't think this is a situation where TJ Watt is having first conversations with the Steelers. This just opened up. Things are just here. Omar Khan and TJ's agent sat down for the first time. They didn't get where they wanted to get to. And now he's moving on. I don't think that's what this is. I don't think this was an early Instagram post, if it has anything to do with TJ Watt as a whole. And I mean, you look at this and you got to say TJ Watt and the Steelers have had to be talking. They've had to have communication throughout this entire process. And I don't know how long or when they started, but they have to be at a crossroads where it's not looking good. This is not a premature move by TJ Watt. I doubt it. There is nothing about TJ Watt that has ever struck me as premature, as a guy who is going to cause drama or draw attention to himself, which I think is the biggest one. It's not the drama's big, obviously, but I don't strike TJ as a drama guy. I certainly don't strike this guy as a bring attention to himself guy. Never have. I mean, this dude had a hard time doing a taco commercial for a while. He doesn't want the headlines on him. He doesn't want that type of attention. But they have to be hitting a point where TJ is going, I need the attention to get paid because things aren't going the way that they should be going, and I need to make a move that's a bit drastic. That's my interpretation of the situation, is that TJ and the Steelers have been talking, and things have not changed. Now, Tom Pelissero chimed in, and this is where things got very interesting. He said while hosting the Rich Eisen show just 2-3 hours ago, quote, I would say this for TJ Watt, couple of things. And this is not with any knowledge or background, but one, he is in a contract year, plainly due for an upgrade. Doesn't have it yet. Two, I would fairly tell you, TJ Watt is probably getting a little sick of waiting on the quarterback question as well. He went on to say, Cam Hayward, who then proceeded to try and walk that back several times when he said, hey, you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't? I don't need to make more of a pitch from that. That opinion, from everything I've been told, is not solely to Cam Hayward. There are other people, certainly in the organization, in the locker room, who are just going, what are we doing? We're back for off-season workouts in 10 days. We're coming up on the draft. What is the plan? At the time when, if you're a player, you can feel like you can win now. TJ Watt, potentially being on the I'm tired of waiting for Aaron Rodgers train like many others in Pittsburgh, most likely. I would say 90% of the fan base at this point. And you got to ask the question, how true is it? How real is that situation? And I'll start by saying that I don't think that this or anything about the quarterback situation is going to push TJ Watt out of Pittsburgh. I believe that TJ would listen. I believe that TJ, just like Cam Hayward, would understand the situation that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in. And how they can get out of it and the plan to get out of it. I believe all of that. I also believe that there probably is some tension in the locker room when it comes to guys like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and Pat Freiermuth and DK Metcalf now and all these other veterans who are sitting around going, we are waiting for a dude who has not promised us anything. We are waiting for the guy, and we are all over the news because of it. We look terrible because of it, and it's kind of annoying. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Again, I don't think TJ Watt is the type of guy to cause more drama because of the other side of the football. But it is interesting that Tom Pelissero has made it known that others within the locker room are sitting around as upset as, I mean, I get Cam walked it back, but he didn't walk it back. He had to. He had to be professional. He realized that he was going to play with this guy, and he's got to look good now because he's going to see it. Cam's got a big voice. He's still learning how to use it. That's what that is. TJ and everybody else, they're not going to cause that drama. They're not going to make that noise. And TJ's Instagram post is not about Aaron Rodgers. That's clear as day. It's not about Aaron Rodgers. But it doesn't help. It does not help at all. And it would help way more in these negotiations if the Pittsburgh Steelers had a detailed, laid out plan saying, this is how we're going to solve the quarterback issue with or without Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if they have that with the without. Makes it a little, I don't know, a little fascinating at this point in the offseason to sit here and say, okay, this is probably getting broader, both situations. Now, I'll give you my final prediction on TJ Watt. We'll talk about a couple other things, and then obviously we'll answer all your questions. I don't think TJ is going anywhere. I think a deal is going to get done. Omar Khan has said it too many times that TJ Watt is a one helmet, gonna retire here type of guy. He said it 2 weeks ago. I think there is going to be a battle between the two. I do believe that. I don't think this is going to go down easily. I don't think this is going to be smooth. I don't think the Steelers are going to get it done within a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I think TJ and the Steelers are going to battle it out because TJ is going to want his money and he deserves every penny of it. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to realize that they waited too long to do this. That if they did it a year ago, it's $34 million and they look great. But they did it this year and now it's $39 million and it's not as good. I think that could certainly play into it. I also do believe on the Aaron Rodgers, TJ, everybody in the locker room front. I mean, I look at it and say every fan in Pittsburgh right now is so tired of Aaron Rodgers. And it's hard to believe that a lot of people in that organization, in that locker room, are not tired of Aaron Rodgers. Maybe TJ Watt's one of them. We'll see what happens. I don't expect it to change. I don't expect TJ Watt to go anywhere. I do expect him to sign a deal roughly around $39 million in the next 2 or 3 months with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and for all of this to end as it likely will end and as it likely should end. And that is in Pittsburgh. All right. With that said, we've talked a lot about TJ Watt. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's answer your questions. Let's go through them all. I do want to address 2, I guess, news and notes that have happened over the last 24 hours or so. And that is obviously Arthur Smith and Russell Wilson saying the 2-minute drill and Ben Roethlisberger and all this stuff and what he heard. I actually got a phone call about that today and I thought, oh, very interesting. I should bring this up on the podcast. True, but came with much broader explanation. And that is there was a lot of limitations within that offense because Arthur Smith's game plan and Russell Wilson's idea of things were not the same. And that changed when Russell Wilson stopped being a quality quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's when those things happened. It was not early. It was not all the time. It was once everybody figured out that Russ was only doing one thing, Arthur Smith tried to change it up and Russ wasn't a fan, nor was he able to do it. I think that's important. I was kind of under the same understanding of that situation. I understand that Ben had to defend another quarterback, but I was a little bit under the same understanding that I think this had more to do with timing than it did anything else. All right. The other one was George Pickens, who looks like a freak, but I can't find the video. And I don't think I could pull up Route God's video without getting taken down on YouTube. And I can't do that to everybody. So George Pickens looks like a freak. With that said, let's start answering questions. Shout out to all our members. Shout out to all our super chatters. TJ Watt's not going anywhere, but I'm sure everybody wants to talk about it. So let's do that. I'm going to answer all of your questions. So toss them in the chat. I'll get to as many of them as I can before I head out of here. With that said, I'm going to start off with everybody's favorite UPS driver, Stephen Cornfield. Quote, TJ ain't putting up deuces. He's celebrating that a deal is close to being done. Why do people have to think negatively? Also, what about last night? I don't know if I was a huge fan of last night. Was everybody else a fan of last night? Was the big night out? Was that the way to go for anybody watching on the internet? Because I thought being there, it was probably a blast, but online, it wasn't the show that I think you wanted it to be, thought it was going to be. You thought it was going to be more of a production, a YouTube production. It wasn't. It was definitely a live event with cameras, and that's hard to do. Can't put any blame on that one. Wasn't a big fan. I'm that taking nothing away from Pat McAfee. That guy does incredible things. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that I dislike anything he does. Just last night didn't tickle my fancy. TJ could be. Definitely could be. I saw every theory. I mean, Brian Backo tossed out there yesterday, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He said that TJ's tossing up or tossing up a picture because he thinks it's the one he looks best in. It's his favorite picture. I think that's a possibility, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to rule that out. I don't think it's likely. I don't think it's the most likely scenario. I do think that in the realm of possibilities, it's certainly there. It's definitely because, again, I would toss a deuces sign up and be like, that's a great picture. I'm going to do it. Now, he's definitely seen this picture for weeks. It was taken in Vegas. So that is not recently. And he's definitely had his eye on it. So strange time to put it up. Very strange time to put it up. It's more Kaboli started things. I overlooked it. Wasn't even going to talk about it. Kaboli started things. Now it's all anybody can talk about at this point in terms of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Madeline, how do you know for a fact next year's quarterback class is better? Dart would still be considered a first-round pick next year, so why wait? Seems a little counterproductive. Don't you think? Maddie, you are Jackson Dart's biggest fan, and I appreciate that. I can't say I agree, though. I can't say I agree. I don't think Jackson Dart would be a first-round quarterback next year. I think he'd be somewhere in the third round. I also don't think that he has the upside that many quarterbacks in next year's draft have. I don't think that Shedeur Sanders has the upside that many quarterbacks in next year's draft has. I look at it and say Jackson Dart is a good one if you got 2 years to give. And even at that point, I'm going Jalen Milroe. It just doesn't. There's nothing about the situation that I feel presents the upside that the Steelers have an opportunity to get next year and could sit with Aaron Rodgers this year. Maddie, once again, honestly, I think Watt is a great player, but he hasn't shown up when he's needed, especially in the playoffs. And I know double teaming is a thing, but maybe it's time to move on and go young. Wow. Didn't see this one coming. When it comes to Watt going anywhere, I think Watt's going to be fine, first of all. I have a hard time looking at TJ Watt and thinking anything other than this guy is going to figure it out. I've thought that the entire time. There's nothing about TJ Watt is the scariest, hardest working human being I've ever met my entire life. And I've met his brother. I still think TJ is scarier, and the work ethic is unbelievable. This guy is most likely going to figure it out. Now, what could you give for TJ Watt? That's a massive question here. I mean, it starts with 2 first-round picks, a first and a second, first and 2 seconds. You're definitely getting a first and some. I think depending on who the team is, you're looking at a first and multiple others. I don't know. I'm not a TJ's going to go anywhere. idealist. I don't think that's the best case for the Steelers. I think that you should pay him. Not having a quarterback under contract and not going to have a quarterback under contract long term certainly helps that situation. I think that it opens the door for, I mean, you to sign TJ and really do anything else that you want to do because you don't have that $50 million a year quarterback contract. And the salary is going to keep going up, which means that people say things like, oh, but $40 million, but that's what you'd pay a quarterback. Yeah, but now quarterbacks are going to get 60. So it's still a $20 million gap. I think it works out. Smooty Booty. If the Steelers lose TJ Watt, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm already in Eagles country. Might as well join them. I grew up around, I don't want to say around, I grew up in Scranton, but my sister lived in Eagles country, and Scranton's 50-50 split with the Eagles country, Steelers country. Not the safest place in the world to be a Steelers fan, I'll say that, but I guess there are worse teams to be. TJ's not going anywhere. That's how I have viewed this the entire time. Is TJ, of all players, is just not a guy that you're looking at going, he's going to push this to the point where they're going to let him walk or they're going to trade him. And they don't want that to happen either. You know, they got to come to a happy medium. I bet you they're way off right now. I bet you Pittsburgh's throwing 34 at them and TJ saying 41. All right. Well, when they meet at the middle at 38.5, it's not going to be what the Steelers wanted, but they messed up, not TJ. And I think that's very important in this situation because I don't see TJ as leaving. I see the Steelers as messing up, and now they have to pay more for TJ Watt when last year they could have paid significantly less in the process. In the NFL, you have to demand a trade basically for negotiations. I don't disagree. I think at this point, everything's getting so dramatic that you look at it and you almost have to do something crazy and outlandish. It almost has to be done for you to be able to get anywhere as a player negotiation wise. So I could see the Steelers. I mean, that's what's going to happen with George. TJ was the first one to break it out a couple of years ago in Pittsburgh, the hold in. You got to do what you got to do. You know, times are evolving. It goes from a hold in, being cool, being cordial, to I gotta put something on Instagram that nobody's going to like, but I got to let the world know that things are not good. The evolution of time, and TJ Watt's in it. That's where we're at. Marlon continues here. Why would a team trade back next year to allow the Steelers to draft one of the names people want? I mean, you just got to find the right team, you know, and it's hard to dive into who those teams would be right now because we don't know who the top 10, top 12 in the draft is going to be. But it's just all about opportunity. Like if you're a team that, let's just say the roles were reversed, okay, and you're a team this year that's sitting at number 6 or number 7, and there were a bunch of quarterbacks going because, you know, that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a bunch of quarterbacks that go. But, you know, we'll use real life examples. Say you're Vegas, you want Ashton Genty. Somebody's trading up with you to go to trade up to, what are they, 6, 7, somewhere in that neighborhood, to get a quarterback. You know they're not taking Ashton Genty. You know there's really one team behind you that might take Ashton Genty, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. You could outweigh that situation and say, great, but teams aren't holding back to say, oh, I don't want to let you go get that quarterback. The Browns, the Ravens, and the Bengals would, but I don't think the Chiefs, I don't think the Packers or the, I'm naming teams that will not have a top 10 pick. I should name teams that have a top 10 pick. The Carolina Panthers, the Chicago Bears. I don't think those teams are going to sit there and say, oh man, we got to stop the Steelers from getting a quarterback. They'll let them happen. The further you're moving up, the more you're giving out. So I think it just goes as there's not always a need for quarterback by every team. And because of that, you can move. Now you're not going to trade with a quarterback needy team, but you might trade for a team that is the Bears and doesn't need a quarterback because they got Caleb Williams. Stephen Cornfield, once again, people are just grasping at straws to find things to talk about now. Leave TJ out of it. Mike Tomlin said TJ is here to stay. Pat is a dang. That said, last night pushed boundaries I wasn't comfortable with. Yeah, last night was weird. It was a little weird. Again, I wasn't the biggest fan of last night, but I don't think a lot of people were. Now, that being said, TJ and that situation, I agree once again. I don't, there's no part of me that sits here and thinks TJ is going to go anywhere. I mean, none. Now, again, I do think that there could be something there, but I don't think that he's going anywhere. I, again, ignored it until everybody told me that's what we need to talk about. And here we are because, well, the Steelers, they bring up headlines. Now, I will also acknowledge the Aaron Rodgers thing and that side of it, that side of the TJ Watt drama that Tom Pelissero dropped on the Rich Eisen show. I don't buy that for a second. There's no chance TJ is posting stories about Aaron Rodgers saying, "Oh, you better get to Pittsburgh, man, or I'm out." Like, that's going to do anything. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to do anything about that. He's going to look at it. Okay, sounds good. I'm not coming there anyways. I'm waiting for Minnesota. I'm already, I'm in a darkness retreat. I can't even see what's going on right now. I could care less that TJ just got traded. That doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't bother him. I think that has nothing to do with it at all. I hear you. I think that we're out here. And again, I even sent out feelers. Yesterday, all last night. And then this morning when it blew up, I had to send out more feelers. I didn't get a single reply from anybody. Now that can mean Noah's in the doghouse right now. And let's hope that's not the case. But I think it also just meant that it was either nonsense or somebody's trying to find the right way to explain it because it's being taken out of context. That happens quite a bit. So I think it's one of those two things. I agree with you. TJ is the last guy that I think causes drama in the city of Pittsburgh. But again, Caboli, Pelissero, Ian Rappaport, everybody wants to bring it up and add to it. And I mean, even Andrew Filipponi, which I didn't even listen to it, but he said he's got developments that are concerning. All right. Well, that's not good. That's not good. I don't believe him, but that's not good. I love this one. TC Steelers. Yeah, no, what in the world are the Steelers doing? Who knows, my friend? Who knows? Waiting on Aaron Rodgers, week 5. Who knows when he's going to come? Now reports as of this morning are saying it could come after the draft because of the Kirk Cousins situation. What Kirk Cousins situation? What are we doing? How did we get here? How did it just take these turns? It's every week it's something different. He wants a bigger contract. Now he's waiting until after the draft. He's waiting for Minnesota. How did we get here? What is real and what is not? Who knows? It's crazy, man. And I got the craziest part about this, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep talking about Aaron Rodgers. I don't, but I just got to tell you guys. The craziest part about this is that yesterday I got a phone call. Hey, the Steelers are still pretty confident that they're going to get him. Yeah, I'm well aware of this, dude. What's the new stuff? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I was like, but it does seem like these are the words. It does seem like everybody's real pissed off at Aaron Rodgers, and he might be pushing this a little bit too far. Yeah, we've all caught on to that one. So it seems at least everybody's starting to pick up on the wildness that is Aaron Rodgers and how wild this situation is. Knight Rider 16. If I'm TJ Watt, I'd want out. 9 years and haven't experienced a playoff win. Tomlin is ass. I mean, TJ wants to retire a Steeler. That's the biggest part of this answer is TJ wants to retire a Steeler. He's wanted to retire a Steeler. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. He's never has. Even if this situation is blowing up and he, is looking at it going, I do need to push the limits of what I'm used to negotiation wise. TJ's not going anywhere, and he doesn't want to leave. He wants to figure it out in Pittsburgh. I truly, truly believe that. With that said, from Marlon Lewis here, if you were the Rams or Commanders, would you go for broke trading for TJ? Yeah, I mean, I definitely would. If I was either one of those teams, I definitely would. I think less with the Rams because I think you got Jared Verse and a young defense, and you could kind of figure it out, and you might want to use that first-round pick on something like a wide receiver if he's there. The Commanders, I'd give everything for TJ Watt. Anything I possibly could, I'd give it to TJ Watt. And I think that's the Rams and the Commanders, probably the first two teams that come to mind. I could see somebody crazy like, nah, Detroit's going to pay Aiden Hutchinson, so that doesn't make any sense anymore. Chicago, maybe saying, let's do it. There will be teams out there. Anybody with a rookie quarterback, I could see it happening. I could 100% see it happening. Still going here. Eddie the first. Aaron Rodgers is the damn plague. Yeah, he is. I don't even know if I have an answer to that one. He is. He 100% is. Hey, Noah, just seen you this morning. Oh, my man, Mike, dude. It makes sense to get Watt more commercial/TV deals. First off, shout out. Always makes my day when I see somebody. So I appreciate that. I appreciated you 100%. When it comes to commercials and TV deals, I really do think there's a possibility he was just tossing up the deuces saying, I'm here, I'm on social media, here's my random, like that's in the realm of possibilities, which is a broad spectrum right now. It could just be that TJ Watt was sitting there going, all right, here's my obligatory social media post because I have to be active because, El Paso Tacos called and they now have a, Fruit Loops taco they want to send my way or something like that. That's actually real. That could actually be the case. I don't think it's super likely, but I do think it's a possibility, like for sure, that Aaron Rodgers is just sitting around going, or that TJ's sitting around just going, all right, there you go, and then logged off, and we just blew up and made the biggest deal out of it. But again, the reports afterwards they're the weird ones in this situation. I don't totally get them yet. Not until I hear from myself what's going on, and obviously you guys will be the first ones to hear it from me. Broderick Wallace, TJ will be 31 in October. When should we prioritize outside linebacker in the draft? 2026? No. I think the Steelers' outside linebacker room is pretty good right now. I mean, Alex Highsmith has 1 year left on his deal. 2 years, I believe. It'll be next year that his deal is the final year of his deal. So at that point, you can make a decision on him. But you have Nick Herbig, who's going to develop. By the time that his contract's up, you could decide between him and Alex Highsmith and go in that direction. TJ will still be signed for another year. I think when TJ is hitting his final contract, that's when you go get an outside linebacker. But I don't think you go get one first round unless TJ's gone. If TJ retires at that point, different conversation. If he goes downhill, you have that conversation. I would say 2027 is like the first time that they think about it to really go out there and replace him. Before that, I just think that they have the options, and you could find that like Herbig is going to get a shot to start at some point if Alex Highsmith ever leaves Pittsburgh. I don't know if I expect Alex Highsmith to leave Pittsburgh, but if he did, Nick would get a shot, and that would push that back at least another year. That's what I would think. No, what didn't you like about the McAfee show? Just curious because I was thinking the same thing as you. Shout out to Juice. It was just, I don't know, man. It was just not a YouTube show. It felt, I mean, like he obviously like made a couple of, went on a couple of rants that were just like about getting canceled and stuff. And I was like, all right, that's not the Pat McAfee show. That's not what we're here to watch. But I get it and I understand it. And if I was in Pat McAfee's shoes, I would probably do the same thing. Again, I'm not trying to put him down because it was like a crazy event. I've talked to people who were there and they had a great time. The dude who won $2 million and got booed. Great for him, dude. I'd get booed for $2 million any day of the week. Any day of the week. But I don't know. It just wasn't it wasn't something that you should watch on television. It was like watching the circus or that's actually exactly what it was. Like, it was like watching the circus from television. It's just not the same as being there. Like, I've never been to the circus, but I would just imagine that's what it is. It's just, I don't know. Wasn't an event that I think you should be watching online and you get the same experience. Noah, has Shedeur been to the facility yet? Yes, he was there today. He flew in yesterday. Haven't heard anything about how it went. Would imagine it went well. Would imagine he's still there. Actually, maybe he's just leaving. Probably going to fly out tonight, and from there, we'll get some reports. But usually that stuff doesn't really come out unless it's like positive or negative. It's just kind of doing your due diligence. You meet with guys. Nobody, and Pittsburgh's not the situation where it's going to get out that he was arrogant or brash. I would just guess that they got in there, they did what they needed to do, they learned about him, they probably asked a bunch of questions about him and his dad, and then they moved on. Shout out, Adam. Quarterback situation is that the Steelers are in a horrible spot. Drafting in the mid-late round every year only makes it worse. Can you check my email, please? Oh, I will check your email 100%. Don't know where you sent it to, but I will 100% make sure that I get a hold of it, and I'll look up after the show. When it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers and their quarterback situation, I think next year is the year you draft somebody high, but I would not rule it out this year. They are clear as day, putting in the work to at least understand what this quarterback class looks like and how good it could be. That could change. That could change their minds 100% once they're on the clock. And Shadur's still there. Kenneth Grant, Walter Nolan, Emeka Ibuka, Matthew Golden are all gone. And you're just looking at going, Jackson Dart might be the best guy. Jalen Milroe might be the best guy. Tyler Shuck might be the best guy. I think next year is the way to go. But I think this year there's a chance for sure that the Steelers find themselves in a situation where they at least consider it when they are up at 21. Still going through. Got to make sure that we hit everybody. Hey, Grayson the Ginger. Hey, Noah, what position on both offense and defense do you think will be next to blow up in pay? That's a great question. That's a great question. Wide receiver is already blowing up, but I think it's the next one to take a pretty significant jump once again. Like I could see it going 40 at some point in the next 2 or 3 years, especially with Justin Jefferson getting 35 or Jamar Chase getting 40. Like I could see it going like 40's ginormous. 40's ridiculous. DK Metcalf's getting paid 28 in 2025. Jamar Chase is getting paid 40. That's wild. I could see a lot of wide receivers going 40 over the next couple of years. I could see that happening. On defense, that's a good question as well. There's a lot of already like big positions that get paid and get paid a boatload of money. I mean, defensive tackle, I think, is going to continue to rise. 20-ish, 25 million is like a good spot for a defensive tackle right now. I could see that closing in on 35, 40 in the next couple of years as well. I think that's a real possibility. I think corner constantly expands, and they look like they are already taking steps towards that. Derek Stingley was a guy that I think deserved a contract. Don't know if I deserved a record-breaking contract, and there will be others that follow that are looking for that same amount of money. So I could see corner, I could see defensive tackle, I already see wide receiver, and I think that's going to be massive. I don't think running back's going that way soon. I don't think tight end is going that way. Like Trey McBride signed that deal. I don't think that's going to continue. Although Sam Laporta, maybe, but good tight ends take good deals. Most of the time, good tight ends take good deals. I don't know. I would say wide receiver, and I would say defensive tackle and corner. Jerry here. No, will you give my son a shout out? Clayton Hammerbeck. Heck yeah. Shout out, Clayton. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're enjoying this rainy, but it's all right, dude. April showers bring May flowers here in the city of Pittsburgh. Appreciate you both tuning in today. Shout out, Clayton, once again. Andrew here. TJ knows what he's doing, but it's absolutely for contract negotiation purposes. It definitely is. It definitely is. If it's for anything, it's contract negotiation purposes. It is not a trade. TJ is not looking to be dealt from the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is no part of it that makes you think that he is trying to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's simply a, hey, if this is anything, it's give me more money because I deserve it. And I doubt TJ's in there asking for $50 million, but I could see 41 and the Steelers saying 35. And them having to get to a spot where it's 38, 39. That would be my prediction for the Pittsburgh Steelers and TJ Watt right now, but I don't think it's about anything other than contract, if it's about anything. Met Dog with Pat McAfee, 100% is a dog. Pat's the dude. And I've heard great things about him. I've heard great things about his co-hosts and everybody on that show. Obviously, I talk to Kaboom constantly, so, he's my point of reference, and he's a pretty good one. I feel like super, super reliable. Again, how do we know Manning is going to be a franchise quarterback? He has the name, but so far that's it. I agree. You got to have a big year out of Arch Manning, and he's got to declare for the draft, but we have no idea what's going to happen a year from now or if any of that's going to be the case. I like other guys, though. I love Garrett Newsomer. I mean, you could look at it and say Drew Aller's in there. Nico, what's his name, out of Tennessee? I'm still not confident to say that last name in front of you guys. We'll get there. Don't even worry about it. I think there are a couple of options and still more that are going to come out that over the next 8-9 months, that draft is going to fill out pretty nice, even if Archie Manning is not the one. All right, still going here, making sure I don't miss anybody. Always. Pony's just stirring the pot. Appreciate you guys. Does retiring a Steeler mean more than winning a Super Bowl? I think for some guys, yeah. I also think that those in the Steelers locker room understand that this team is pretty good, and they view it that way. I don't think if you ask TJ, he says, I'm going to leave Pittsburgh and they're never going to do anything good. I think that this guy believes in Minka Fitzpatrick and Cam Hayward and Jaylen Warren and Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens and DK Metcalf and, Keanu Benton and all these guys and Patrick Queen and Alex Highsmith and Mike Tomlin and says, this is a good team. We have a shot to win a Super Bowl. I think that I honestly, I'm not even, kind of hyping up the Steelers. I truly think that's how TJ feels. I don't think he views the Steelers as a bad team. I don't think he ever has. Justin here we just ran Najee and Harris out. Najee and Russ, out of town. Ooh, just spilled water all over the place. Just ran Najee and Russ out of town because they didn't elevate the team or position group. Yet we talk about a guy every day with 4 MVPs, 1 Super Bowl ring, and Aaron Rodgers that did not elevate the Jets higher than Zach Wilson did. Over it, it's the gig. Okay. I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna start off by agreeing. That is where we'll go first. Is I agree with the fact that I do not see Aaron Rodgers as a guy that comes in here and guarantees a single thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I truly, truly don't. But I do think that out of all the quarterback options on the board right now, he's the only guy that you could justify gives them any shot at winning a Super Bowl, any real shot at winning the Super Bowl. And I only say that because if you put Aaron Rodgers in a situation where all he's got to do is be the guy 3 or 4 times, I think he could do it. And I think there's an opportunity, there's a chance he can do it. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I think there's a chance. Just like Russ last year. I got it because I thought there was a chance. Mike thought there was a chance that he could be that guy in those 3 or 4 situations. He couldn't be. And maybe Rodgers can't either. But I think out of all the quarterback options, if you need him to go beat Mahomes in a 2-minute drill, I give him an opportunity to. I say I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say there's no chance. I would say that with Mason Rudolph. I would say that with most of these first-round quarterbacks. I would say that, obviously, with Skylar Thompson. I'd probably say that with Russ. I don't think I'd say that about Justin. I don't know if I know enough about Justin to say that, but I do truly think that when it comes to him elevating a team, the Steelers aren't looking for him to elevate the Steelers. They're just simply looking at it and saying 2 or 3, 4, 5, or 4 times a year, we're going to need you to go win a game for us. Can you do that? And maybe he's got that left. Maybe he doesn't. We're going to find out. And if he looks awful, man, dude, if he looks awful, the Steelers look worse. That's the worst case. It's not him not going to the Steelers. It's them winning 8 games with Aaron Rodgers. That's the worst case scenario for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Or them being phenomenal with Aaron being the worst quarterback in the NFL and bringing him down. That's the worst case scenario for the Steelers. Because at that point, you look like an idiot, and you look like an idiot that just let a fool duke you out of potentially going after another quarterback and maybe a quality playoff year. That's worst case scenario for the Steelers. Did Aaron Rodgers sign yet, or will he? I do expect him to. I don't know when. I went to the league meetings. The general consensus was Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only holdback is the fact that Aaron Rodgers still hasn't signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you can never say yes, definitely, but you could say you expect him to. And I do. I expect them to. I don't know when. I have no guess for when. Nick Farabaugh was on here yesterday. He said just before the draft. There are reports today saying that it might be after the draft, which is not good. Which is not good at all. But, you know, I think it opens the door for a lot of people. Juice here once again. Clay Klubnik, 100%. That's who Nick Farabaugh said yesterday is a stud. He's his favorite quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a Nico dude. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's got what I like about him is he's got more athleticism than I think anybody else in the draft. And I like that in a quarterback moving forward. Like, I just think, especially in the AFC North, it's good to have quarterbacks that can escape the pocket and make things happen with their legs, because you're facing guys that will run you down more times than they will let themselves get blocked by offensive linemen. So I like both of those names. Klubnik was Nick Farabaugh's guy yesterday. Grayson, one more time. Hey, Noah, today is actually my dad's birthday. He's a fellow diehard Steelers fan, and he watches clips from the show all the time. Can you give him a quick shout out? His name is Michael. Michael, we're going to call you Michael the Ginger. My man, hope you're doing good. Big shout out. Appreciate the support as always. Appreciate the support from your boy here, Grayson the Ginger. Always great to see his name pop up, and I hope you have a fantastic birthday from me and everybody else at the AST family. Zach Curry, I can't believe people are actually think TJ will leave. He already said he's retiring a Steeler. A lot of the fans don't listen. I don't think it's the fans. I don't. I think it's people stirring the pot. And at that point, you got to have a reaction. It's tough to put that reaction into modest terms because everybody just riles you up so much. I think that's what's happening here. Marlon Lewis, it's my B-Day. My dude. Shout out to Marlon Lewis. Still appreciate the TikTok that you sent that. I mean, I think kickstarted a lot of this and a lot of what's going on today. So thank you. I owe you a ton. And happy birthday, my man. Happy birthday. Pittsburgh Hornets here. Do you think Crosby could play quarterback? He showed last night. He has an arm. Dude, that was fantastic. Fantastic throw by Sidney Crosby. Was a huge fan of the throw. And I was ready to make the joke. I was ready to say, call him up. And then I saw the picture of him standing next to Big Ben. And I went, I forgot Sidney Crosby's 5'10". And that's not it. That's not quarterback material right there. So don't get me wrong. Greatest hockey player I have ever seen in my life. But, and I'm not saying of all time, I'm saying in my life, you go from 5'10" Russ to 5'10" Sidney Crosby. It might be difficult. You got to start shrinking linemen if that's the case. Got to start shrinking linemen. Stephen Cornfield, once again, why worst case scenario will get a real draft pick? I mean, yeah, I guess that is a positive swing on that. Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't even think that way. So I appreciate it. I still think that's in the realm of how bad it looks for the Steelers, how bad this saga could play out for the Steelers. I think that's a very big positive that you could take away from it. But in terms of reputation and that kind of stuff, I think it would look really bad if the Steelers just stunk in 2025 with Aaron Rodgers. I think it'd look terrible. But that's a good swing. That's a good turn here. I'm going to be honest, I didn't think that way. Glad you did. I'm glad you did. Justin, I respect and thank you for bringing up the latest every day. At this point, I'm ready to run with Mason because I don't think AR gets us Super Bowl. First off, thank you. I appreciate you guys tuning in every day. When it comes to Mason, I love the fight that everybody's going to have for Mason. I do. I don't know if Mason wins a Super Bowl, but I do think that worst case scenario is not that bad for the Steelers. It's really not. I think Russ would have been worse than Mason Rudolph. I do. I think Joe Flacco is worse than Mason Rudolph. I think there's an argument for Carson Wentz, but I think drafting a guy in the third round like Will Howard or Quinn Ewers is worse than a Mason Rudolph. I I mean, I think Mitch Trubisky a couple of years ago is worse than Mason Rudolph. Mason 2 years ago, everybody wanted him to stay. Everybody wanted to see Mason Rudolph get that opportunity, come back and compete with Kenny, be the guy. All right, well, they just wanted to test the waters with Russ and Justin real fast, see if that worked. It didn't. And now they get Mason again. I'm all about it. I think it works out well. I think it works out well. Didn't Tomlin volunteers, not hostages? I agree. And I think that is going to be a big topic of conversation at Aaron Rodgers' press conference when it comes to Mike Tomlin, is you're looking for volunteers, not hostages. Sure sounds like Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be here, huh? Sure getting those vibes that Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be in house with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I agree. I 100% agree. I think it looks terrible. I think the longer we wait, it looks terrible, but that's where we are. It's where the Pittsburgh Steelers are. It's not a good place to be at all. Not a good place to be. But again, I mean, they're going to wait it out, and they're going to continue to look bad in the process, but they're going to wait it out. They're not going to stop. We've had one difference maker on our team for years. One elite guy in TJ Watt. How are you going to let your best player slide? I don't think they're gonna. I do think they're going to pay TJ. I think they're going to pay TJ a pretty good amount of money. $38-39 million is what I'm predicting for TJ Watt. I think he's going to be fine. I think they're going to get a deal done. But I don't know when. I don't expect it to be soon. And I do think that maybe, just maybe, and for those of you who haven't paid attention or haven't checked your notifications here, Shedeur Sanders is live from the Pittsburgh airport right now on Instagram. So if you want to leave me and go to there, I don't blame you at all. I don't think they're going to let TJ Watt go. I do think that there might be a little bit of a gap in negotiations, but I don't think they're going to let TJ Watt go. Conspiracy theory. I'm so excited for this. You guys know me, conspiracy theorist at its finest. What if TJ is doing this so the media will talk less about Rodgers and more about TJ's contract, the way the attention is off Rodgers and he just decides to sign? I didn't see that conspiracy theory coming. I didn't see this one being where you were going with this. I don't hate it. They're working in tandem. TJ saying, hey, I'm taking one for the team here. That would be a real TJ Watt thing to do, huh? That'd be a great TJ Watt thing to do, to just say, screw it. I'm doing this for us. Everybody's going to think this is bad, but this is me walking into the stadium or walking into Art Rooney's office, putting my hand down and saying, I'm signing. Give me the deal right now. We're fine. We're fine. It could be. It's a good one. It's a good one. Hey, Noah, did you see that Shedeur's trainer is comparing him to Joe Burrow? Crazy comparison. Yeah, I did. I got the attitude side of it. Like, that's what he was comparing, which I don't think is the craziest thing in the world. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, the guy in the same conversation, I don't know if you caught this, compared Cam Ward to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you got to hype up your guys. I get it. You got to hype up your boys. Neither are true in my head. I like Cam Ward. I think he's phenomenal. I think he'd be top 5 pick, top 4 quarterback in last year's draft. I don't think he's Patrick Mahomes, and I don't think Shedeur is Joe Burrow. I think that's a little bit hard to believe. All right, still rocking here. Got to make sure that we don't miss anything. Everyone is wrong sometimes. Shout out once again, and happy birthday, Mel Blunt. Birthdays galore today. Shout out to all you guys. Oh, here we go. Unlimited moonballs. Start bench cut. Joey Porter Jr., Deshaun Elliott, Patrick Queen. You all know where I'm starting with this one. You all know where I'm starting. I get it. Joey Porter Jr.'s got phenomenal upside. He's a great dude. I appreciate everything that he does to help me build stories. In terms of any time I got a question, he's got an answer for me. I appreciate who he is. I do. Deshaun Elliott is my starter, man. That guy is an animal. He should have been born a Pittsburgh Steeler, played his whole career a Pittsburgh Steeler. I don't know how it didn't happen earlier, but here we are, and I can't tell you if there's a less fun player out there in Pittsburgh right now than Deshaun Elliott. I'm going Deshaun Elliott start. I'm benching Joey Porter Jr. Again, tremendous upside. I think Patrick Queen is phenomenal. But if we're going Pittsburgh Steelers tenure, it's not the most impressive. There are questions to be asked or to be answered. Joey's got some, but I got more hope in him. I got hope in Patrick Queen too, but Joey's shown he could do it. I'm benching Joey Porter Jr. I'm cutting Patrick Queen. Don't feel great about it, but I think I'm doing it. 2 weeks out. Great question from Madeline here. 2 weeks out. Who is your pick at 21? You guys have known for a long time who my pick at 21 is. It is Kenneth Grant, and it will remain Kenneth Grant. I think he fits everything that the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for right now. I think he's got the potential to replace Cam Hayward completely and be that 3-tech who could be a pass rusher and a run stuffer. I think he's everything they want. Derek Harmon is a close second. He's phenomenal. But my guess on the Pittsburgh Steelers first-round pick right now, where we stand, I think Kenneth Grant is first on their big board at 21. He's first on my big board at 21, and I think he is perfect for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Stephen Cornfield here. Should the Steelers pay TJ Watt $41 million so we can finally have this one up over Miles? That's awesome. It would be cool. It would be cool. But I think the Steelers conversation when it comes to TJ, their counter argument will be very simple. The Browns aren't going to win a Super Bowl. And Miles could go there and get paid all the money he wants, but the Browns aren't going to win a Super Bowl during Myles Garrett's run in Cleveland. The Steelers are trying to. Because of that, we're going to need those $2 million, which is ridiculous, but they're going to need them. But I think that's a great idea. I do. Wandering Warrior, every time Noah says conspiracy theory, he has to play the X theme file. Oh, I love that, actually. That would be so awesome. TJ living long enough to see himself become the villain. That's okay. Maybe a little, maybe, probably not, but we all know you're joking. I love that one. Pittsburgh Hornets. So if Dylan Gabriel was on stilts or got in a trench coat with Skylar Thompson, then he would be great. Yes. The answer is yes. Like the answer to that is yes. He's so small, and that is a concern. It's got to be a real concern. You can't not have that as a concern. Like, you can't overlook it and just say, well, he's still good. Yeah, I'm not. Nobody could deny that. But he is short, man. He's short. He's like 5'11", maybe. That's short for a quarterback. It's tough. It's tough to do a lot of things in the NFL when you're not tall enough, not big enough. Playing quarterback's a big one. It's tough. It is tough. I think Dylan Gabriel is going to be good. Quality backup for a long time in the league, maybe in Pittsburgh. Wouldn't be surprised if they had some interest in him, but I don't think he's going to be that guy. Has anybody thought that maybe TJ is just stirring the pot? Him and JJ have proven they can be trolls out of fun, of course, and maybe he just wanted to get a rise out of people. Maybe. Again, realm of possibility is very wide right now. Oh yeah, I could see it. Put TJ and JJ together. I'm telling you that if I had to guess what happened, and it's not the contract, because I think the contract is a very real possibility. If it's not the contract, I genuinely think that TJ just posted a picture and picked the wrong picture and now is hearing all the noise and doesn't care at all and probably thinks it's funny. He's probably laughing at Kaboli and Pony and everybody and me and everybody else for talking about it. That's probably what's happening. Why don't you think Sanders is good? Colorado wasn't good until Sanders arrived, plus the offensive line sucked. I think Shedeur Sanders is the second best quarterback in this draft. I do think he's the second best quarterback in this draft. I don't think as a whole he's got the upside to be, top 2, top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, which is what you're looking for with those guys. But I do think he's good. I just don't think he's got the elite athleticism. I don't think he's got the massive arm. Two things you need. I think his mentals are great. And his ability to read the field is great. And his accuracy is really good. But I don't don't necessarily think that he has the physical traits to get himself into that top 5. That's my only pullback on him. All right. I think with that said, oh, here we go. We'll finish it off with this bad boy. Start bench cut, George Pickens, DK Metcalf, prime. And we're talking prime. Juju Smith-Schuster. You're starting DK Metcalf, but there's an argument to be made for George. But you're starting DK Metcalf. You're not even thinking twice about it. That guy at his peak is unbelievable. I'm benching George. And I think prime Juju was really good and fit what the Steelers. I think he was very underrated, to be honest with you. Reliable set of hands. Fumbled a little bit against the Ravens, but I think it was just the Ravens, just the curse of the Ravens. I look at it and go, George Pickens is 24 years old and is probably going to be a superstar one day. I'm going George Pickens. I'm finishing off by cutting prime Juju Smith-Schuster. It's a good question. Wish we oh, we got to finish it off with this one. Wish we got more Juju. That's what I was going to say there. I think Juju is I liked Juju. A lot of people didn't like Juju. I like Juju. I thought that he was pretty okay for what the Steelers asked him to do. I think they could do better, but I think that he was pretty good for what the Steelers wanted to do. All right, we will finish it off with this one. Rob Little. What is wrong with people? What is the Steelers' record when TJ doesn't play? That is a great way to close this one out and close out a conversation about TJ Watt. Is the Pittsburgh Steelers understand who TJ Watt is? That is why I'm very confident that they are going to pay him. I do not at any point think that this is a situation where the Pittsburgh Steelers and TJ Watt are battling it out and they realize this is coming to an end and things are getting brutal. This is the first sign of tension in a situation that has most likely been going on for a little while. That is what this is, and it will remain that, and it's not going to change. So the Steelers understand what they do not want to lose and how much they need to pay to do so. And when it comes to TJ, he just wants to get paid. And I fully, that's how I look at this entire situation. Mike Lang, do you think the Steelers sign George Pickens and have a tandem like the Bengals? I don't think they signed George Pickens this season. I think that they would like him to stay for one more year and figure that situation out and go from there. I'm not positive that he's going to react that well to that situation. I can't guarantee that he's going to react one way or another, but it's hard to say that a guy that deserves to get paid, that wants to get paid, is going to be okay with not getting paid. And that's when things are going to become an issue. But I will say that I don't think the Steelers want to trade him. I don't think they necessarily want to sign him to an extension right now. That's not the vibe I get. But they do want him and DK to be their tandem in 2025. And now kind of just becomes, how cool is George Pickens with that situation? I don't think he's going to be real cool. I don't think most players would be real cool with that situation. Not getting paid, having to leave a year, or having to play a year on a real cheap deal with no security long-term, and a team that already paid a wide receiver. I just don't think it works out that great. That's when things will become tricky. But for right now, I don't expect them to sign George this offseason. I just don't see it. I don't see it in their books in 2025. And Titus Kitchener, Sanders will be a Steeler. We'll see. He's in Pittsburgh now. I hope that live is good. And I'm about to go jump on it and see if I could pick up anything that came out of Shedeur Sanders hanging out at good old Pittsburgh International Airport. Kind of stinks that he's there because, to be honest, the Shake Shack's not there yet. It's really just the Chick-fil-A. And there's like the Pittsburgh Sports Bar, which has phenomenal Bloody Marys and boneless wings. So if you're looking for that. But besides that, it's a lot of renovation right now. He's not getting the full effect of Pittsburgh International Airport. With that said, though, I'm heading out of here, guys. Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. Hammering those audio downloads. So please go give us a 5-star review on Apple, and find all of my work at si.com/NFL. Steelers. With that said, I'll be back tomorrow morning to finish off the week talking everything Pittsburgh Steelers and what to expect over the weekend as we transition from week 5 to week 6 of Aaron Rodgers Watch. With that said, enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.